Check, check. Sound coming through? It's saying it's coming through on OBS. It's coming through now. Thank you very much, Hannah G. Lord love this system. It works. Sorry, I'm a little scattered today, chat. I've pop out chat. I got online, started prepping everything, and then realised the notes I'd made earlier in the week regarding this little character build have gone missing, which is fantastic. We love that for us. So today, that's really thrown me. As always, we respect and honour the Palawa people and their elders past, present and emerging. We also say hello to Lily. Hello, Lily. Do you have anything to say to the lovely audience? Very good. You are all blessed. Now, what we're going to do today is a deviant build. And it's deviant in multiple ways, but the main way it's deviant is modifying a few of the merits that you have selection to as deviants, and developing together some a new power set specifically designed around the idea. Good heavens, today is just that sort of day. Spilled my coffee everywhere, gang. I don't have a towel nearby and I have a cat. The goal today is building a character that is mostly based around the fawn element of being afraid. You need to get off. I'll be right back, chat. Although I can probably talk to you. So this build is focused around when one is afraid, one's immediate response is to capitulate, to make friends, to be safe by securing affection, rather than be safe by defending yourself, rather than be safe by freezing, and rather than being safe by running away. So, let's start this build. Now, the main thing we're building around is this little merit here, human prey. Human prey is focused on, as a mechanic, it's focused on the three classical responses to fear: fight, flight, freeze. There is another one, which is fawn. That's this idea of capitulating, of making friends. And if my screens will behave themselves, we'll get this into a better situation, so you guys can see not only that, but also our little workstation for merits. There we go. Get chat up, so I can see your lovely faces, or see your lovely comments. How are we going today, chat? And how clear is the image of the work? Oh, just boosted. Interesting concept. Yeah, I like making. I've made a lot of very rude characters recently. So characters who basically default to, no, 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 you don't want to fight me. I'm your friend. I'm your bestie. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little fella. Why would you want to hurt me? That's kind of a fun idea for me. So, starting with human prey. Whenever violence breaks out in your character's presence, immediately before you roll initiative, you may choose to react in one of the following responses. Your fear manifests as a berserk frenzy. You suffer the insane tilt, but add +1 to your strength. Pretty good. Flight. You wish only to flee your attackers. You suffer the beaten down tilt, however, which means you can't attack. As a tilt, you have to expend willpower to even to start to facilitate violence. However, you enjoy the 8 again quality on any actions you take to leave the area affected by violence. This can be social actions. This character is going to be a very social character. Freeze. Your panic manifests as inaction. Whether it freezes you in your tracks or sends you carrying terror, you suffer the stunned tilt or the insensate tilt, but you regain a point of willpower. That's good. Which will probably be quickly spent negating the effects of the stun tilt or the insensate tilt. Fawn is spelt incorrectly. Fawn. Fawn is going to be in addition to this, where your fear manifests as appeasement. We'll spell check later. Your fear manifests as appeasement and capitulation. You suffer violently. Last initiative for the round. However, you gain 9 again on social actions to de-escalate or redirect the violence. Because, I mean, who would be a monster and hit their friend? Right? You're just a little friendly guy. This character is... A character with this is most likely designed... Hello, kitten. To be... And she's back. Is most likely designed to be entering combats with the intention of surrendering or providing a social cover, social face that keeps people focused on them in some form. Yes, hello. Everybody thinks you're a very pretty girl. Yes. Now we're going to keep building this Deviant. We're going to be using a Mystagon character sheet. If you're unfamiliar with Mystagon, check the character sheets out at Mystagon. uh, .rocksolidshells.com. He does all of the best. Yes, do not focus. Do not look at the man behind the screen. Merely look at the cat on his lap, for she demands cuddles. Mr. Gon does all of the best CFD character sheets. You can get some good ones from Onyx Path themselves, but I find them a little clunky in their layout. A lot more clunky than Mr. Gon's. Look at my. Yes, very much Hanaji. It's Aussie tradition indeed. I also heard that you've munted your sleep cycle again. Let's get all of this into frame so we can actually, play around with this effectively. So if you haven't seen a character build, Bud, if you haven't seen a character build for Deviant, at least you got one chunk of sleep. Deviant has a few basic concepts that inform it. The first is this table. Bud. This table is the most important table for Deviant, the Descent. This tells you how dangerous your enemies are, what sort of threats you're going to be facing, all that sort of thing. From each conspiracy standing is basically you should look at it like from the levels of local, city, national, international, beyond. So conspiracy standing 1, they may operate within one small area, a suburb, a zip code, that sort of thing. That's their sort of situation. 2 is the next step up. You're looking at, maybe half a city, several suburbs. They've got more assets, more power. 3 to 4 is you're looking at citywide sort of influences. If we take Hobart, if you wanted to set play in the city of Glenorchy, which is mostly just a suburb, you would probably set it at Conspiracy Standing 1. If you wanted to set it to the entire western shore of Hobart, right underneath Mount Wellington, you'd probably put it at Conspiracy Standing 2. If you wanted all of the Derwent Valley, Conspiracy Standing 3 makes sense. If you wanted basically up to covering most of the southern half of Tasmania, or even all of Tasmania, you're wanting Conspiracy Standing 4. 5 is interstate. There are agents all across Australia. 6 is this where you start is as a small cog in the machine. This tells you exactly what you need to know. Now, quick reference. These are the best thing about Chronicles of Darkness, because Chronicles of Darkness character creation process is a bit more intensive than D&D's if you're used to that. So you have this little character creation guide. At base, we're going to be setting our character, our situation as being magnitude 2. Conspiracy 2. Variations 5. Now, Deviant is a really good book in a lot of ways. It does have some clunky wording. But yeah, it's got some really good ways to go about building your characters. Now, we are kind of breaking the rules of Chronicles. Normally, you would build a human and then fit it to the idea and then adjust dots. We're going to build the idea. So the concept is I'm your friend. I'm your friend. This is a lie. This character is not your friend. This character is the uh, smile that sits behind all gossip. They are the smile that powers all misdirection. They say they're your friend, but they have never been your friend. They have only been using you for the tool that you are. Deviants are not nice people. I know we mentioned that they are basically um, the X-Men for Chronicles. That's a little misrepresentative. X-Men are good people. Always. They may be flawed and all that, but they're good. Deviants are not good. They are they are easily the antagonists in someone else's campaign. So, things we're going to look at first are the origins. We went over origins a little bit last week, but we're going to select a specific one for this character that we're going to run, this friendly character, and we're going to select an epimorph or a volunteer. This character volunteered to be turned and changed. Although what that means may be different for each epimorph. So they get an additional variation, which is a subtle variation, and it's scar-free. Variations are the powers of the deviants. Let's see if I can lift this without giving you guys the full blast of the sun. Variations are the powers. If you wanted telepathy, that would be a variation, and each variation is attached to a scar. Scars are the negatives that you get from the power. Chronicles is not like, as always, Chronicles is not like D&D. Whereas D&D is trying to give you this sense of power, Chronicles is often trying to give you the sense of power balanced with a sense of cost. Okay? You may have incredible power, but that means that your weaknesses are also incredible. So that's the origin for our little friendly friend. Let's just balance that out. Now the clade is the basic idea of who they are. Cephalists are psychics and telepaths. Chimeric are animal-like. Coactive are... Ooh, let me get this right. Coactive are two entities that are placed over one another. Invasive are... Sorry, I'm being nibbled on by a cat. Invasive are creatures that are things that have gone into your body that have altered it, and mutants are the natural mutations that may happen. For this character, we're going Cephalist. So, they get the ability to increase their variation magnitude once per chapter. Deviant is, I think, a very difficult book in some ways because it is, you not only start with your X stat or X situation, you also have your Y going on. So X is in normal C of D is what you are. in some form. One of the ideas that you base your character, broad families you base your character around. Y is your second element. Um, so we did. What did we do first? We spent a couple of months on Mummy. Your X stat was the guild you were in. Your Y stat was your decree. You get the same sort of situation here with Deviant. Your X stat dictates what you will do, your Y stat dictates how you will do it, and your forms or your Z stat dictates the elements that affect it. So that's what that does. Now, one of the most important elements of Deviant, and one of the more bookkeepy elements of Deviant, and we'll just close that down, is stability and touchstones. Stability is 5 plus acclamation, so all characters should start with a base of 5, although with XP you may increase your acclamation. Your touchstones represent what drives your character, what makes your character focused in some form or other. So, for touchstones, convictions are the burning hatred and desire to get revenge. You are Inigo Montoya. The six-fingered man would be your conviction. You are Wolverine. Your memory would be your conviction, as you have it stripped from you. And then in X2 we see Striker. And we're going to keep coming back to X2 because it's just a really good Deviant game that's translated to the screen. In this case, we want the company man. The man who said this is just my job. Let's see some of the other touchstones. You've got a childhood friend, co-worker, ex-lover, frenemy. I like the frenemy as a loyalty touchstone for this character. And if people have any ideas, feel free to throw them in. I'm also going to put the cultist as one of the convictions, because I think that's funny. Quick build, we're wanting this to be a social character, so we get 5 dots to spread across these three, the primary of these 3 columns, 4 in the secondary, 3 in the tertiary. In this case, we're going to go 5, 4, 3. 5. We want a high resolve character. 4. And just a balanced one there. That puts our health at 5 plus 2. Size 5, stamina 2. Willpower at resolve plus composure. Base of 5. We'll probably play around with that at some point. Social. You may see here, this is one of the things that makes Mr. Gon really great. Gives you a breakdown of attributes, skills, and such down the bottom. In this case, we get 11, 7, and 4 for the categories. We're going to go 11 here, 2, 4, 7, 10, like that. That's good. So at 1 dot, that is basic skill set. You've had some training in some form. 2 dots is you could do it for a job. Most counselors, for example, sit at 2 dots of empathy. 3 is you are exceptionally good at this thing. 3 dots of persuasion is you're exceptionally good at convincing someone to do something, etc., etc. 7, mental or physical? I'm not sure. What do you guys think in chat? Feel like for 7 dots, we want a politics and investigation focused character with 2 dots in academics and 1 dot in computer. Yep, that's a very boring and simple spread. And for physical, we put 1 dot in athletics, 1 dot in drive, 1 dot in stealth, 1 dot in survival. Everything else. Merits. I actually want to take some time out to look at the merits that Deviant has to offer in this case, because it's got some really fun ones for a friendly friend sort of character. Where is it? Merits. Okay. So, I'm just trying to remember the ones that I had for this character. Bleeding Heart was one, which means this character still has a virtue. 1, 2, 3. And we'll go Compassion. So this is still a very human character in some ways. Good Samaritan. Despite the suffering, they feel compelled to use experiences and remarkable abilities to help baselines, regular humans, to protect them from the web of pain. Samaritan. Which is a merit I very much appreciate the name of. Human Prey. It's another one. With the default to Fawn. Now, as a supernatural character, you get 10 dots of merits. We're up to 7. And just give me a second, I'll put some music on so my headphones actually don't DC again. I think I can drop that. Alright. Does this character want medicine, actually? Maybe. That might be a tweak that is done at a later point. Desktop audio down. Cool. We are not getting copyright strikes. Now, this character doesn't have many overt problems. Now, overt means merits that draw the attention of the conspiracy that's following you. Good example, prized experiment. which means that they do not want to harm you. Oh, brilliant. Love your work. I'm gonna slap 2 dots into medicine. It's just good. And we'll go up to the merit further up that I saw that triggered this. Shared suffering. Which I think, given the rules, pretty solid. 2. This leaves us with 1 dot unassigned, and none of these are overt. So we want something that's a little overt, I think. Striking looks. This is a very pretty individual. Alright. Running out of time. So we're just going to jump to variations. These are the basic powers of the Deviant. Let me get this up. Now, Deviant is one of the more mechanically crunchy games in this sort of way. They have a lot of keywords and a lot of deviations and a lot of things going into these ideas. A good example, if you want to take a look and you have the time, of course, using the variations from wadcodex.com. Go there, take a look at the wiki, take a look at the variations. But what we're mostly focused on is a selection of merits specific to the cephalist. So, cephalist variations. We don't want astral travel. We don't want body snatcher. We also don't want creeping dread, but we're going to keep an eye on that one because we want to use that as a basis for a power that we're going to build together. And we'll say, as always, homebrew is best brew. Things like telepathy and memory thief are maybe things that we go for. But what we are fundamentally wanting is we are wanting a telepathic power that influences people to become friends with us. Beautiful. I don't have a name for it. And if I did, the file has disappeared. Now, these keywords matter, but we'll leave them be for now. We've got 20 more minutes of stream, so we'll just leave them be. This is going to be a tiered power, though. Saying it, we'll leave it be. Tiered powers are very simple. They are powers that you get access to your level and below. It's a pretty simple keyword. Suggestive. I like that. Let's take a look. Let's see if it... Nope, suggest is not a keyword found in Wadcode. If it were a power name, it would be there. Tiered. Alright. First level. Our 1 dot power is going to be similarly based off telepathy and creeping dread. Whereas creeping dread's 1 dot inflicts an integrity breaking point or the shaking condition. We're going to modify that to being increase social standing with an individual, increasing first impression rating by 1 if you aren't using better social maneuvering. Gain a +2 to the social dice pool. So a very simple starting level power that is actually quite powerful. Increase social standing, increasing your first impression rating. Increases the number of times that you can roll to influence or suggest something to someone. I actually really like that name. So we want that sort of power to sit behind everything. Let's go to the core book. What are we looking for? 135. To see this power. At magnitude 2, Deviant determines an object of the victim's fear in the current scene. Okay, so we want to, at this level, we're kind of wanting to inflict a difficult but not unworkaroundable sort of condition. Victims cannot approach this. Cool. So using this as a basic idea, the deviant, the broken, can be fixed or made whole by their victim, and they manipulate them at end. So we want to inflict a couple of conditions. I actually have to thank Hanaji, I think, for these cards. These are condition cards that I use in my regular games, most often to inflict the broken condition on Hanaji. So what we're wanting is not... Do we want obsession? No, we don't want obsession. We want swooned or leveraged. Yeah. Actually, no. We're going to rework the bonded condition. I've done this a couple of times before because it's such a good condition. Bonded condition. Your character has established an extensive bond with an animal, in this case a person. She gains +2 to any rolls to influence or persuade the person once per scene. The person may add your... This is aimed at animals, so we will adjust it to be persuasion to any rolls to resist coercion or fear when in your character's presence. For the scene, your character inflicts a modified bonded condition. to persuade the. Come on, what are you doing? I wish I had the bonded condition with you. Person. May add persuasion to any rolls to or fear. Presence. They may only do this. They may add your persuasion to any one die roll. So, bonded is a powerful condition and a very useful condition if you are running animal builds, beast focus builds. It's the sort of thing that should be represented in, I would say, 2 to 3 exceptional successes, unless the character has spent significant time developing a rapport with an individual. Two. Oh wait, 3. I can't count. This is where we're going to deviate even more from the book, with how Creeping Dread works. We're going to bounce to variations, and we're going to take a look at. We're going to take a look at Vampire the Requiem to influence what we're doing with Majesty. Majesty does a hell of a lot of things, but one of the most important things is this charmed condition, which I'll just get up to read because I don't have that on cards yet. One day I will run an actually decent Requiem game, but today is not that day. Conditions. Charmed. Here we go. This is where we're getting into persistent conditions. You've been charmed by the vampire's supernatural force or personality. You don't want to believe anything he says is a lie. Inflicting charmed, I think, is a fantastic condition in this case. You want to do things that make the deviant happy. Doing favors, etc. The resolution is the creature attempts to seriously harm you or someone close to you. So what we're going to do, Broken is a magnet of love and adoration from all. They want to be their friend. They want to be the best of friends. The most loved person. And you will and their victims help them accomplish that. You inflict the charmed condition Charmed, persistent condition upon a single scene. This condition is maintained until its power against someone else in which upon souls. Obviously this looks pretty powerful. However, you can only use it on one individual at a time, which I think balances it out, as well as there's going to be effects on scars. This is a long-term power as well, whereas some Deviant powers are really focused on the short term, getting through to the next day. This is focused on getting you through to the next day and gaining more, and gaining more. And whilst Deviant doesn't have many of those, Vampire has a lot. Let's see. Number 4, we're just going to refit a powerful merit that from the core book, which is Peacemaker. Point oh, make a presence plus expression roll to redirect. Peacemaker isn't broken. It's powerful, incredibly powerful for a merit. For a supernatural power, it's not. Enemy skulls. It is strong. I normally say Peacemaker is banned at my tables. Because, and my players don't want to use it anyway, because it's not one of those things that takes power away from the storyteller in a fun way. You can have lots of those, and CFD has lots of those. What it does is it takes power away in a not fun way that affects other players at the table. If you have one individual with Peacemaker, they are going to immediately rip combat away from those who want to do combat. And motives. For for number 2 successes, drop, enter social maneuvering. And merit. So this I think fixes Peacemaker in one very important way. Whilst it does actually, it requires you to reference additional rules. Peacemaker, and the thing that made Peacemaker powerful was it affected all individuals within a combat. If you add this simple presence plus expression roll, and you make it a supernatural power that targets specific individuals, you actually balance it out amazingly. Sure, you can talk down supernatural rages still with the Peacemaker merit at 5 dots. But there is still that risk of failure, which is fun. There is still that possibility that you will cease to um, have influence on people, because this is still social maneuvering. They can socially resist you. They can push back against you. You may have perfect social maneuvering, but they've got perfect social maneuvering with you, and they can convince you to, say, join their side, to use this power against your friends. And don't you want to ensure that everybody is at peace? Don't you want to make sure everybody's safe? Don't you want, as a player, to be their friend? And that's part of what I think this power set can be. It's powerful, sure. It's not. I don't think it's as powerful as some of the others, but with the right build like this, you have a character who just wants people to like them and will toxically seek that out as much as possible. Okay, we've only got 3 minutes, and then I'm going to throw us over to Occultist Anonymous. So I'm going to get that sorted. But chat, if you have any ideas for the next fortnight, let me know. I'd love to hear ideas to add to this. The stream will be starting shortly. Yeah, thank you for stopping in, Hanaji. I really appreciate you being around. You are a good influence. How do I ban people? I need to figure out how to ban people. Because that pun deserves it. Alright. I look forward to seeing everybody who tuned in, whether on VOD or live, in the next fortnight, where we will be finishing this off, and then looking at the conspiracy and how we can use conspiracies, particularly in an Australian context, and how they can be different to American conspiracies in that way. Yes, hello, darling kitten. Yeah, you're a beautiful baby, aren't you? Schedule. Alright. I'm gonna raid you guys on soon. I will see you later.